Hello, everyone out there, my beautiful family and friends. How are we doing this fabulous Tuesday? I hope that you are all doing well wherever you are in the world. So, if you liked this famous singer's music, you may want to watch this. And I will also be sharing a little bit of a personal story as to why this message is so important. So if you're tuning in with me live, say hello, let me know that you're here. If you are watching the replay later on, just let me know that you have stopped by. And it's awesome to know where you're watching from. I love to connect with people from all across the globe, and it's awesome to see so many people from across the globe tuning in. If you are new to my lives and we have not met before, my name is Crystal Ricassi, and I am coming to you live from the beautiful, kind of cloudy, chilly state of Utah here at the moment. And I'm a woman on a mission to help and inspire others to live longer, healthier, happier lives. I'm truly all about living a gluten-free and chemical-free lifestyle, and I am here to help others get on the other side of chronic health issues. So, welcome, guys. I'm so thankful that you guys are here, and I really appreciate you guys taking time out of your day to spend here with me. So, I want to clarify real quick that if I am looking down, it is just because I do have some notes with me. This is really important today, and I really want to make sure I give you all the right information. So, hello, sis. How are you, Tanya? Awesome to see you live with me. How are you doing? I hope that you guys are doing well. Give Mom and Van my love. So, okay. So, what does this have to do with a famous singer and what I'm going to talk about? Well, this famous singer, how many of you guys have heard? I'm sure everybody has. Heard of Michael Jackson. Let me know if you liked him, because I grew up to him. I loved and adored the man. This has, regardless of whatever you heard or read or whatever, this is not anything to do with anything that was said in the tabloids or anything like that, okay? There is a very important message that I want to get out, and this is something that I've been researching. So I want to share with you things that I have learned, and then I will share my story. So many of you guys know, or for those of you who do not, Michael Jackson was born on August 29th in 1958, and sadly he passed away on June 25th of 2009. Okay? Broke my heart. I grew up to him. My mom grew up to him. I was raised listening to his music. I still have his music. My kids and I danced to his music. I mean, he's just a total icon, and I loved him. Anyway, so now, I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but how many of you have heard of, yes, I know, sis, I know, we both loved him. How many of you have heard of celiac? Let me know. And I will share with you that Michael Jackson had celiac. Now, if you're not sure what that is, it's basically a very severe form of, well, it's celiac basically, and IBS and ulcerative colitis, and these are things I should not be saying, but I need to give technical terms here. And those sorts of things are all basically the same health problem. It's just one is severe, more severe than the next. Okay, if that makes any sense. So the reason why I'm talking about this, hello Tina, how are you, gorgeous lady? Thank you so much for being here with me. So the reason why I'm talking about this is because Michael Jackson had celiac. What happens with celiac is people who have celiac cannot eat gluten. Okay, I've talked about gluten a lot. That's basically why I'm here, is to talk about several chronic health issues and to help people overcome them, get on the other side of them. So celiac is really serious. I mean, it can actually be fatal. Seriously. Michael Jackson had celiac. How many of you guys have heard or thought that Michael Jackson bleached his skin or had, facial constructive surgery? Now, don't get me wrong, he did have surgeries and things like that, especially on his face, but how many of you are aware of that, the fact that when his skin started to turn lighter and lighter and lighter as he got older, that was not bleaching? Okay, he did not go and have his skin bleached. As he got older, his skin got lighter, and this is actually a sign that his celiac was getting worse and worse and worse. Okay, this is all to do with gluten. Okay, and because of this, he actually, yeah, I didn't know that either, Tina, but I did some research and I found out some very interesting things. Interesting to know, but also very heartbreaking at the same time. So, yes, his skin got lighter. He did not have it bleached. This is because of gluten, okay? Now, let's see, what else do I have here? How many of you knew that he wore wigs? I didn't know he wore wigs, but the reason why he wore wigs is because his hair started to turn white. It actually got lighter and lighter and lighter, and towards the last, I don't know, maybe 20 to 30 years of his life, he actually wore wigs because his skin or his hair was like snow white. Let's see. Where else am I? Okay, so he was also diagnosed with a very severe bone and joint issue. Very severe bone and joint issue. That I cannot give the technical term for it, but it affects a lot of people with their hands. They have, it's painful. It starts with a capital A. I'll give you that. So, did you guys know about why he wore that glove, the white glove with the jewels on it, whenever he performed? Do you know why he wore that glove? Yeah, I didn't either, Tina. It's fascinating. It's sad, very sad, but it is fascinating. It's awesome to learn things about people. So he actually, the secret behind that white glove that he wore with jewels on it was to hide the bracelets that were on his wrist that he had to wear because of carpal tunnel. He actually had carpal tunnel. And so he had to wear bracelets around his wrist, and that he covered it up. He covered those bracelets up with that glove. Yeah, I know, it's crazy. So I already mentioned that. Sorry, I'm just checking my notes here to make sure I don't repeat myself. He also had a nutritionist who followed him everywhere and kept telling him that he needed to eat his whole grains, that he wasn't getting enough whole grains. Now, guys, those of you who have been here with me for a while, you know that I am not saying that whole grains are bad. I am not dissing whole grains at all. It's the protein gluten that is found in wheat, barley, rye, and oats that is bad. And I've already, the reason for that is because the body has a hard time breaking it down, okay? Now, in terms of rice and millet and other things, there's other things of grains that we can eat that are not going to destroy the small intestine. But yeah, so anyway, his nutritionist actually followed him around and told Michael that he needed to eat more whole grains. He wasn't getting enough. And And then he actually, this was really interesting. Oh, I got a phone call coming in. Just a sec. Okay. Have to call them back. Okay, so he actually had I found this out. He actually had to be put in a hyperbaric oxygen chamber when he was home because he needed to get that hyperbaric oxygen. That was something I had no idea about. He also had to have, this is really sad, he also had to have injectable painkillers. He had to have his painkillers injected into him because he could no longer absorb painkillers orally. And that as well has to do with gluten. Because gluten, the body has a hard time breaking that protein down. And so what happens is it destroys the small intestine, the villi in the small intestine. And if like he was continuing to consume, his whole grains, listening to his nutritionist and his personal care, his personal physician, and so it made things worse. So he couldn't absorb that anymore. So he actually had to have those painkillers injected. Sadly, he died of cardiac arrest. This cardiac arrest was all due because of his personal physician overdosing him on medication, on painkillers and benzodiazepines and all of those awful, disgusting things. So thankfully, now I do have a method to this, so just bear with me. Thankfully, in August of 2009, a Los Angeles County coroner revealed that his death was in fact a homicide, and his personal physician, Dr. Murray, was convicted and sent to prison. So thankfully, that came out of it. Now, why am I talking about this? I'm not bringing this up to be morbid and dark and depressing and all of that stuff. I have a really important message to deliver. And here's where I'm going to share a little bit about my personal story. And this is about my son Jaden, who just turned, well, he's going to be 12 this year. It's great. It's crazy. It's scary and crazy at the same time. It's crazy. I just made a new word. But my son Jaden, who is 11, I'd say about maybe 6 months to a year ago, actually started to show light. His skin, he's darker complected than I am. Beautiful complexion. But he started to show lighter skin on his face, like certain spots on his cheeks and underneath his eye and, on his cheeks and over by his jaw started to turn lighter. And it looked like, like almost like somebody put makeup on him that was lighter than his skin and just left it. The reason I'm mentioning this, and it was a concern to me at first, but then I started really looking into it, and this is actually when, shortly before my husband and my kids on their own decided to go gluten-free. Now, I myself have been gluten-free for about 6 years, but my husband and my kids decided to go gluten-free on their own because they had seen me suffer with horrible pain in my tummy, horrible migraines. I mean, I've honestly had migraines since I was 6 years old, and I saw different specialists and anything. Anyway, I don't want to digress on that, but gluten has a lot to do with this, guys, and that's why I'm talking about it. So, happily to report, since my husband and my kids decided to go gluten-free on their own, and my kids have been, watching me throughout the years, what I eat, what I avoid, what cross-contamination is, and, they eat at school, they eat dinner at school because they go to an aftercare program. So the beauty of that is that they are educated, so they know what to avoid and what's safe. and when I say gluten-free, guys, it doesn't mean that you can't go out to eat anymore. It doesn't mean that you can't eat at family functions and things like that. You just have to really, be careful and be aware that some things, even if someone tells you it's gluten-free, if it's cooked in the same oils, we are oil-free here in this family, but if it's cooked in the same thing, in like grease or pan or something like that, that's something that is not gluten-free was cooked in, it's already cross-contaminated. So that's what I mean by cross-contamination. So when my husband and kids decided to go gluten-free, I started to notice that my son's skin started to clear up. His behavior, this is really surprising, but his behavior actually started to mellow out a little bit. And he's doing better in school, and he's able to focus a little bit better. I'm not saying that gluten was, the cure-all for all of that, but I am saying I noticed a huge, huge improvement in not only his skin, but his behavior as well. So I just wanted to share that with you. And he's happy and healthy. Both kids are happy and healthy. So that's good. Sadly, there's nothing that we can do because Michael's gone, Michael Jackson, but it just goes to show, that when we talk about stuff like this, and, again, I didn't want to be talking about dark, morbid, horrible, depressing things, but really, when we start to really dig a little bit deeper and we look into the root issues that someone might have or had going on, we can get a little bit more educated as to what was going on, why it was going on, and, get the word out as to how to prevent things like that from happening again. So that was really my point here. And, I loved Michael Jackson, as I said before, and his music will live on here in my heart and my family. So anyway, yeah, I don't know if that message was any value to you, but I hope that you learned something besides just knowing about, more about Michael Jackson, but really what was going on with him. And that also brings one more thing I want to mention here is that when we see people with, skin issues, bumps on them, just little things like that, or somebody's always wearing glasses, like sunglasses, and there's no sun out, or in a room, or whatever the case may be, assume nothing, guys, and this is where a lot of judgment comes from, because, regardless of your thoughts of Michael Jackson, he was judged by a lot of people because of what people were saying in the background. And I am not saying, thank you very much, Tina, I appreciate that. I am not saying that he's, completely innocent of everything that he was accused of, whatever. But I am saying that this is where judgment comes from. And judgment that will always be there. We will always be judged in life from somebody, some point or another. But it's just really important to recognize and to consider that people have issues going on with them outside and inside that we have no idea of what's going on. And it's just important to not judge people, to not judge others. So anyway, thank you very much, Tina. Appreciate that. I'm going to leave it there, but I hope that this was some value to you. I hope you learned something from it. Yeah, so anyway, if it was valuable, please let me know. If you feel that this information I've talked about today would benefit someone else, please feel free to spread the love and get it out there. And I thank you guys very, very much for tuning in here, spending some time out of your day here with me. And I hope that you all have a fantabulous rest of your day or evening or night, wherever you are in the world, and I thank you guys again. So Take care, be well, and I will see you guys back here again on Thursday. Have a great one. Mwah. See ya.